It was the fire at this substation near Heathrow that threw Europe's busiest airport into chaos. For 18 hours it was closed on Friday, with more than 1,000 flights cancelled. But now the head of the National Grid has said there were 2 other substations available, which could provide enough power to Heathrow, raising questions about whether the airport needed to shut for so long.
I spoke to the Chief Executive of Heathrow myself on Friday morning. He explained to me at that point in time that there are multiple sources of power that feed the airport, but the scale of the disruption meant there were particular problems, as I understand it, in Terminals 2 and 4. They had to reconfigure the power supply.
The government has now launched an urgent investigation into the loss of power.
Right next to Heathrow, there's a data centre which is just opening right now. That will eventually have an electricity supply 4 times that of Heathrow, and they do have 100% generation backup. So if they lose their electricity supply, they never go off, their generators immediately kick in. So I think there's a valid question to ask about, not just for Heathrow, but for the UK as a whole. Should that industry take lessons from the data centre industry?
But even days on, many of the hundreds of thousands of passengers who are due to travel are still feeling the impact of the closure.
It was frustrating not knowing what's going to happen. You couldn't get through to the airlines easily.
Akil was left out of pocket after his and his family's flight to Dubai were cancelled.
In the end, the only option we had was take a refund. And then you're sort of left to fend for yourself a little bit. So then I had to then book another flight with another airline. I had to ring the hotels, I had to move the hotels, I had to, and obviously I'm paying a lot more now.
The government's investigation is due to report its initial findings in just 6 weeks' time. But until then, many will be wondering how this vital piece of Britain's transport infrastructure could have been put out of action with such huge consequences for global travel.